Hey guys, this is Sean Rizzo with Kraken Motorsports. We've got a great video for you today. We're going to talk about some Japanese K cars. Let's get to it. Sean Rizzo here again with Kraken Motorsports, and I'm here to talk to you about something that is very near and dear to my heart, Japanese K cars. I love these little cars. I've had my van for about 4 years now, and I drive it every day. I love everything about it. I love the looks that I get in it. I love the utility of it. I love the fuel economy of it. And a lot of people don't know a lot about these little cars. So Japanese K cars were developed in the 1940s as a way to increase car ownership and stimulate the economy in Japan. As years went on, the cost of having a driver's license in Japan, just to have a driver's license, can be several $1,000s. So what the Japanese government did, since they had a space and a resource crisis in the 80s and 90s, they said, hey, anyone who's willing to drive one of these little tiny cars, K cars, K-E-I, is going to get a bunch of incentives, right? So your license is going to be cheaper, your road tax is going to be cheaper, your parking space is going to be cheaper. We're going to subsidize all these things to stimulate the ownership of these vehicles. And it worked really well. These cars consist of about 75% of the Japanese auto fleet currently, like still today. It's like 70-75%. It was as high as 85% back in the 90s. So they're really cool. They can be had for very little money, relatively. You can get a good example of one of these cars for less than 15, and a lot of them you can find for less than 10. There's a lot of potential in them, and they're just a lot of fun to own. I wouldn't say that any of them are fast. I wouldn't classify these as fast cars. But depending on what you do to them, they can be very quick, they can be very nimble, they can be very fun to drive, like a canyon carver. Think like a Miata or something of that sort kind of feel to these cars. Couple of things you need to know before you buy a K car. First, challenges with working on these cars. Parts for these cars can be difficult to find. If you have somebody like us that has resources to find these parts, has contacts in Japan, has all of the factory books, that sort of stuff, that helps a lot. So if you're thinking about buying a K car, reach out to us and let us know, and I can help kind of guide you to the cars that are going to be kind of the best in terms of parts. For example, this beautiful little gem over here, purchased by one of our customers recently. This is a Suzuki Alto Works, and these cars were very popular in Japan and have become very popular here because it's a great platform. It's a nice looking car. They're available in all-wheel drive. They're available with turbos. It's got space in it. It's functional. So there's a lot of great things about this car. And there are a good amount of parts for this car out there, just not for this one. It was kind of the middle child. The early Suzuki Altos, plenty of parts for them. The later Suzuki Altos, plenty of parts for them. This particular one in the middle there is a challenge to find parts for. So if you were looking to buy a Suzuki Alto or an Alto Works, I would steer you either to the early version or the later version, and probably steer clear of this particular model simply because it's going to be very challenging to work on. This car, like all K cars, has to have a 135-inch or shorter wheelbase and has to be less than 65 inches wide, like 4 feet wide, right? That's per law, right? Japanese law requires that these cars be a specific size. The engines are also restricted by law. They are restricted to 660 cc's. We all know how gentlemen's agreements work out in Japan, but there's a gentleman's agreement between the manufacturers that none of them will make more than 63 horsepower at the flywheel. We have dynoed quite a few of these cars, and I can tell you, I have yet to see a stock K car make more than that. So it's not like the GTRs and the 300ZXs and the RX-7s and the Supras, the gentleman agreement, where they were making 100 horsepower over that agreement. These pretty much stick to that 63 horsepower or less. So this car is rated at 63 horsepower at the flywheel, which means it probably makes about 50 to the wheels. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but this car weighs nothing. It weighs less than 2,000 pounds, or right around 2,000 pounds. So 50 horsepower in a 2,000 pound vehicle is actually pretty spry. So these particular cars come in all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive variations. They come in an NA and a turbocharged variant, the turbocharged being the aforementioned 63 horsepower, right? That's the big engine. And they're just a lot of fun to drive. They're a lot of fun to work with. There's a ton of space in them. The rear seats fold down, so it's a real hatchback. The back end opens up. These are great little cars, and they drive like a dream, right? In stark contrast to that, we have actually a really rare K car. Well, really rare. It's rare. It was a 3-year car. They didn't make them for very long. This particular vehicle is an AutoZam AZ1. This car was a joint venture between Suzuki and Mazda, and since both companies couldn't decide whose name was going to go on it, they made a whole nother company, called it AutoZam. And this was the first car from that company. This car has a lot of really interesting little quirks. First of all, just look at it. It is awesome, right? It is actually a mid-engine car, not a rear engine. The entirety of the engine is in front of the rear axle. So it is a mid-engine vehicle. And
hey,
right? Golden doors. So the K car manufacturers got really creative with these cars. What can we do to them to make them more fun, make them more interesting, make people want to buy them, and make these cheap, inexpensive, really economical cars something that people would actually want to own. And this is an excellent example of that. This particular car came to us over a year ago. We've had it a while. Challenges with this car have been very, very high. Parts for it are difficult to source. There's not a lot of these cars out there. There's not a lot of people who know a lot about these cars. Tuning the car has taken us about 4.5 months to get the right ECM, combination of injectors, and all of the things that we needed to do to be able to tune it. We did a fully built motor on this car, so forged pistons, forged rods. We did a bigger turbocharger, bigger intercooler. We did a bunch of powder coating, a bunch of maintenance on the car. When this came to us, it was 63 horsepower at the flywheel per the gentleman's agreement. It made about 54 horsepower on the dyno, bone stop, with nothing done to it. We just finished tuning this car yesterday. Yesterday? Friday? I don't know. We just finished tuning it a couple days ago, and this thing now makes right at about 110 horsepower at the flywheel. She's making 92 horsepower to the wheels. So we've effectively doubled the horsepower in this car, and this thing weighs less than 2,000 pounds. It is a little rocket ship. It is so much fun to drive. It is properly quick for a car of this size and this caliber. Again, I wouldn't call it fast. It's going to get its ass whooped by a stock V6 Camry, right? But in terms of driving pleasure, in terms of how much fun this thing is to throw into the corners, it revs to 10,000 RPM. So it's like driving a little go-kart every single day. Not super practical. There is no storage in this car. You can't see out of it anywhere. The windshield is about the only real view that you have. The A pillars or B pillars and C pillars in the back of the car. The rear window is really small, so rear visibility out of this car is bad. The side mirrors are kind of a joke, but it is a blast to drive. So much fun. And lastly, if you're looking for real utility, we have my favorite K car, but I'm a little biased because this is my personal vehicle. Obviously, our shop van, Ika-chan. Ika-chan's been with us, like I said, about 4 years, almost 5 years actually. And we've done a lot of work to this little van to get it to where it is today. Full engine rebuild, flat top pistons, ported the heads, smaller supercharger pulley. This has a 660cc 4-cylinder, unlike the other K cars that are all 3 cylinders, Subaru decided to go with a 4-cylinder engine, and this one is supercharged and all-wheel drive. This van is awesome. It'll do 65, 70 miles an hour down the freeway. You can take it on the highway if you're brave enough. It gets about 45 miles to the gallon. You can fit a full sheet of plywood in the back of it with all the seats laid down. It's rated to carry over 1,000 pounds in the back of the van with the heavy-duty springs that we put on it. It is a workhorse, and I just love driving this thing. It is so much fun. It is just a rolling billboard of what we do here, and just kind of the fun and the joy that we have here at Kraken. Everybody loves this thing, and but very, very utilitarian. They make a pickup truck version of this as well. So if you can imagine, right just behind the cab here being cut off, and then a flatbed behind it. A lot of those running around. Those are kind of the most popular K trucks, is the pickup version. And again, you can find these things for between $7,000 and $12,000 in really good shape. You can find them in, hey, it needs some work shape for $3,000 to $5,000. And if you want one that's fully restored, fully redone, fully gone through like this, you'd probably be looking at somewhere between $15,000 and $18,000 for something in this caliber. So very inexpensive, very cool little cars. We are huge fans of K cars here. We work on them, we service them, we maintain them, we can make parts, we can find parts. If you have a K car and you need help with it, please let us know. Now there is one caveat to that. If you have a K car that is pre-1980s and it has a carburetor on it, I don't know there's much we can do to help you. The carburetors on these old K cars, the much older cars, are a nightmare. They're all vacuum operated. They're all, it takes some sort of wizard to rebuild them. The parts to rebuild the carburetors are very difficult to find. We can help you find somebody who can help you rebuild the carburetor, but it is probably the one thing that we don't do. We'll work on them, we'll take the carburetor off, we'll send it to somebody who knows more about it than us, they'll send it back, we'll put it back on the car, but we do not do carburetor work here. We stick to the fuel-injected cars mostly. So, but if you need anything K-car related, come and see us, Kraken Motorsports. We love them, we love seeing them, and we would love to work on it.
No, yeah, it picks up and goes. I can see what you mean. It's like Miata power, just go-karty.
Around and listen to the noises it makes, you know.
How heavy did you say it is?
I think this one is just under 2,000 pounds.
Wow.
Maybe 1890, 1920, something in that area. Alright guys, that's our wrap up on the K-Car video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please reach out. Let us know. We'd be happy to help you. As always, big thanks to my man behind the camera, Trey. If you need any videography or photography done to your events, please reach out to him. We'll make sure that he puts a tag on this so you can know how to get a hold of him. Thanks guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.